it was a pretty big day of college football, wasn't it? Because we saw some upsets happen. We saw an upset last night. We saw USC get trounced over Utah for the second time this year. First time was close, but they lost for a second time. Utah takes care of them, and basically USC's out of the playoffs, and Ohio State pretty much is in at this point unless Alabama tomorrow takes that spot. Then all of a sudden, you also saw TCU lose in a field goal, last second field goal in overtime against Kansas State. You saw that today. And Kansas State upsets number 3 team. They're possibly locked in. But then you saw Michigan get a good second half turnaround against Purdue. They won their game. And then you saw Georgia get a 20-point win, 50-30, pretty much taking care of Brian Kelly and the LSU Tigers throughout their game for the SEC championship game. Even though the Dr. Pepper contest was more controversial than what people would say, more so than what's been happening in the playoffs. We're going to have to see if that does determine tomorrow, but we do have some other big news happening here around the college football nation. Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, former cornerback, as we all know, Atlanta Falcons, former Florida State alum, Hall of Famer, is now going to be the head coach for the new Pac-12. Well, I shouldn't say new Pac-12, but for the rising and revision of the Colorado Buffaloes. So Coach Prime announced this after their big win against Southern. They won 43-24. ESPN called it a blowout. I thought it was actually a blowout at first. You saw it basically 26-0, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, second half you saw Southern get a big turnaround, and they were actually looking to compete and come back in this game, I felt. But then you saw Deion Sanders just throw for more touchdown passes. You just saw them just pull away at the end right there. But after the game, Coach Deion Sanders, Coach Prime, basically announced that he is going to step down the job at Jackson State to take the head coaching job at Colorado. Remember, Colorado, this is the second African-American coach, I'm pretty sure. Maybe I'm a little mistaken right there. Someone could help me in the comments below, but I'm pretty sure this is the second African-American coach hired by Colorado, right next to Mel Tucker in 2019 when he was there for the 5-7 season. But they are SWAC champions again. This might be the last time we see Jackson State here because all those 5-star recruits that they had, including Deion Sanders, they're likely all going to be going to Colorado or maybe going to some different places. However, Coach Sanders is going to be coaching Jackson State for their final game December 17th. His real final game, that'll be against North Carolina Central. That, of course, is going to be in the Celebration Bowl when you always have the SWAC against the MEAC. And there's reasons why this is so important right now, especially if you're a Colorado Buffalo fan. Number one, for Colorado, you haven't had a winning season since, I want to say, only since 2005. You've only had it twice. That's pretty bad when you think about it. A program that's been embarrassed by rival Colorado State, by every team in the Pac-12, not able to go to a championship game. It's just been an embarrassment for them. So having this coach over here, Coach Prime, who had a record of 27-5, Jackson State, and people can argue, oh, they maybe didn't play one. They played some really good teams in the HBCU, mind you, and they were able to recruit really good teams too. Recruiting is going to be a big-time process, especially when you bring some of those HBCU 5-star guys that you had here at Jackson State. You bring them over to Colorado, they become a huge success for your team. But then you got up the Pac-12 situation. Remember, in 2024, USC, UCLA, they're out there. So you need someone to basically replace all the depth that you have there in the Pac-12. And what better team to do it than Colorado with Coach Prime? Now, I'm not saying it's going to be good from the start because, as we've been seeing with Marcus Freeman this year at Notre Dame, it takes time to get a team ready. But give it about a year or so, give it maybe a few games in, I feel like, especially with the NIL deals, the recruiting process that Coach Prime can bring in, the players that love to play for Coach Deion Sanders, I feel like in this turnaround, this could be the uprising once again of the Colorado Buffaloes. Now, in this situation, I want your guys or girls, if you're watching this, I want all y'all takes on this. I want all of your takes on this situation. What do you think about Coach Prime? What do you think actually, who's going to be getting into the college football playoff that we talked about a little earlier? And who do you think is going to be coming to Colorado with Coach Deion Sanders? And how do you think Coach Sanders will be doing as the next Colorado Buffalo head coach? Let me know down below in the comments.